And welcome to Impact Africa, where we celebrate and share stories of diverse people, organizations, and businesses making positive impact in communities. And at the same time, the program we celebrate and highlight events, places, and positive news. I am Dr. Kemi Akiode Adebayo, known as Dr. Mama K. And in today's program, to share his amazing and extraordinary, beautiful story is the intelligent, super humble, gentle, kind. I could go on and on. Sir Victor Ikechukwu Okoronkwo. He is I need to get it right, the Group Managing Director and CEO of ITO? ITO. Beg your pardon. Eastern Exploration and Production Company Limited, based in Nigeria. And he lives in Nigeria and Canada. And he has extensive, and I mean extensive, experience in the oil and gas. My dear brother, Sir Vic, how are you today?
I'm good, and thank you for that elaborate introduction.
I'm not lying. It is what it is. And I feel so privileged and honored to have you in Cape Town, because I know something like this we probably would have needed to do virtual or in Nigeria, but getting you in Nigeria, so I feel really, really so honored to have you in the studio with us in Cape Town.
It's my pleasure.
Let's go to your second name, Ikechukwu. What does it mean? Where were you born? What's your position in the family? Parents, just share with us, your growing up, childhood days, whatever you want to share.
Well, I'm a Nigerian by birth, and I'm also from southern Nigeria of the Igbo extraction. And Ikechukwu means the power of God.
Wow.
So in eastern Nigeria, children are given names that have cultural meanings, and sometimes these names equally influence their lives. So my first name is Ikechukwu, which is the power of God. My second name, English, because I'm Christian, is Victor, and that means victory.
Powerful name, power of God and victory.
And my surname is Okoronkwo.
Meaning?
Meaning also a strong man who was born in the first week of the Igbo calendar.
I see. So you learn every day. Yeah. I even didn't know that. So beautiful.
In Igbo land, we have a 4-day week.
Right.
So it's Nkwo, Eke, Orie, and Afo. So when you hear Okoronkwo, it's a man who was born in the first day of the Igbo week.
Okay.
Which is Nkwo. Then you will hear Okeke, Okereke, you will hear Okorie, then you will hear Okorafo and all that. So
I didn't know that.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Wow, you see already I'm learning. This is why, for me, when we do this, people always think, it's because, for me personally, I'm learning, and I believe a lot of people are learning. Okay, that's beautiful.
Good. Back to your second part of your question. I was actually born in Jos, present-day Plateau State, in Nigeria.
Right.
I am fourth male member of the family. I come from a family of 10 originally, but if you look at my age now, you can figure out how many more people are left. So I started my early primary school in Jos, and that was interrupted by the Nigerian Civil War. And when we moved over back to eastern Nigeria, and then we went through the vagaries of the war and everything. And thank God the war ended 3 years after, by 1970. Yeah.
I didn't know you were in Jos as well. You see, I'm learning a lot of things, or that you were born in Jos. I did my youth service in Jos, and I loved Jos.
Yeah, okay.
So can you speak Hausa?
No. Well, yeah, because I was pretty young at the time. I can pick it out, but I'll tell you what, my mom spoke so much Hausa that Hausa people needed people to interpret to them what my mom was saying.
Really?
My father was a postmaster, He worked with the Nigerian PNT at the
Okay.
time. And then unfortunately he got caught by the pogrom. And then didn't make it out of Jos, and then we did. So, well, I progressed from there, completed my primary and secondary school in the eastern part of Nigeria. I went to the prestigious government college, Owerri.
Okay.
Struggle with some others. Some say it's government secondary school, but to us it doesn't matter. And thereafter, I went to University of Lagos, where I graduated with a degree in surveying, engineering, and then that's how, literally, again, my entry into...
Great Dakokite, another one.
That's how I had the privilege to then get into the oil and gas industry.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, before we go into the oil and gas industry, let's go back now to, I love the fact that when, I was asking you about the meaning of your name and we broke your full name down and that culture of the Igbo tradition. So for you as a Nigerian, what are you mostly proud of? I know there's a lot of negativity or negative things the Nigerians are known for, but for you personally, what are you mostly proud of?
In the midst of all the negativity, what stands the Nigerian out is the power of resilience. Some argue that, okay, we grew up under hard conditions and therefore you have the resilience built in you. But the Nigerian is somebody you can never keep down. And that also adds to the negativity, because when you sometimes operate internationally, people see you as a lot more assertive than the normal conservatism that they will expect. And so being a Nigerian, I'm proud of the resilient spirit of the Nigerian. And there's a town in Nigeria called Warri, and they even have a saying, you never carry last. So everywhere a Nigerian finds himself, he tries never to be the last or take the last position.
Also.
So to that extent, I'm very proud of being Nigerian.
I love that. So now let's go to the fact that you've lived in various continents and traveled across the world, I believe. Some to do with work, some to do with you personally and you and your beautiful wife and family. Living in the UK for you, when you were living there, because we lived together as well in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
We go way, way back.
Yeah.
And then, you were working then for an oil company. Then your family, you moved them to Canada. What has the experience been, and then we'll go on to your career in the profession of oil and gas.
It's interesting that you asked that question. I mean, I moved to Canada, specifically Aberdeen, as part of a work posting. And I just share a story of, in Nigeria, we drive on the right side of the road. And then when we got to Aberdeen, people drive
on the left
side, but we say it's the wrong side, but it doesn't matter. Now, I recall that we had to go through a driving lesson to be able to get a license to drive, even though you had a license from Nigeria. And one of my colleagues, who was going through the lesson at the time, and the instructor was raining a lot of instructions into his ears as he was driving along the road. And at some point, he just slammed the brake and stopped. And then he said, look, I come from a place where you drive with the horn and your brake. But here I am, I'm driving on a road. You tell me there's a roundabout. I don't see any physical structure. It's just a line drawn on the road. Then I see a lot of road signs on the road, both on the tarmac and standing. And I have to read and coordinate all this. And then you're raining all these instructions to me. No, just take it easy. So it's interesting, but that is one of the challenges the cultural challenges that you have to face to integrate when you move to a new country. And I have experienced even maybe a bit more. You know, like in Nigeria, we go to a meeting and somebody walks in and is leaving and he says, I'm coming.
Yes.
Yeah, well, he's literally gone.
I know.
I've been to some meetings with expatriate colleagues of mine, and then somebody comes into the meeting and says hello, and I says, okay, I'm coming. And then the guys keep saying to me, so when is he coming back? I say, he's gone. So,
The cultural differences.
So you have to be alive and aware of these cultural differences, and then of communication, and you know, what do people mean and what do people want, and that's what helps you to integrate. In all the societies that you live in. Yeah.
Let's go now to your career. Obviously, you studied surveying. How and when or why? You know, how did you find yourself in the oil and gas? Because it's not a normal career path, I think, for surveyors to go in, you know, into oil and gas. So, and how has the journey been so far?
You know, thank you for that question. I think it's something that is lost on a lot of people. First, I'm a surveyor, and surveying is the fundamental of any development that you want to undertake, either on the surface of the earth or below the earth.
Right.
If you want to build a road, you want to know where does the road start and where does it end. You want to build a house, you want to position the house within a plot of land you have. You want to plan agriculture, you need to understand where the arable land is and how can you do, you know. So surveying, pure and simply, is understanding the spatial representation of all this infrastructure on the earth, and then also the positioning of what and where you want to do. So, but the challenge that surveyors have had is that they get too specialist and then they are put in a bucket. But the knowledge of surveying sort of opens you up to anything that has to do both with the space and on the earth and beneath the earth.
Okay.
So having said that, I started my career straight out of university and the mandatory 1-year national service in Nigeria.
Where did you serve?
When or where?
Yes.
Well, I served in, I think it was 1984.
Okay.
And I served at a city called Oyo.
Okay.
In western Nigeria. And I worked in the town planning department of the Oyo local government area. It was quite an interesting subject. I can talk about that later. So, however, after all that, I got my first job with a company called Seismograph Service Limited, otherwise SSL.
Was that in surveying?
It was in, well,
so first job was
in oil exploration.
Oil exploration, okay.
And then we were working within the Niger Delta region.
Right.
Both through the land, the swamp, and the offshore environment. But incidentally, it was a UK-based company, but it was one of the biggest seismic exploration companies in Nigeria. It's one of the foremost, actually. So I started off from there, worked on so many projects across these terrain types for Shell. Then I progressed. I rose from being a field surveyor to becoming like a senior surveyor and then a surveyor in charge. At the point I had about 1,500 people working for me. And thereafter I moved on to work for Shell So I started with SPDC, which is the Shell Petroleum Development Company Limited, which is the Shell company in Nigeria, responsible for the Shell hydrocarbon exploration and exploitation within the onshore, offshore area of Nigeria at the time. So I started as a review surveyor, and then rose up and engineered quite a lot of changes, instrumental to introducing technology into our operations, and then proposed to change the name of the department from surveying to geomatics.
Okay.
At the time, a lot of people didn't understand what geomatics was. So essentially, geomatics is the science of spatial studies, okay? So which, given the incursion of technology and then the emerging demography of young people, surveying had become an old name. Young people didn't want to associate with it. Computer technology was coming up at the time. People wanted to study computer science and whatever. But I think changing the name to geomatics presented the young chaps with a new and, if you like, attractive name. And it was interesting because when I did that in Shell, my University of Lagos, then invited me to come and make presentations, and then I speak to both the faculty, the department, and the students as to the importance of geomatics and what it meant. And I'm glad to say that it was also instrumental to the department changing its name to a department of geoinformatics and surveying.
Interesting. Well done.
Because that was like it was like a compromise name to satisfy the older generation who knew so much about surveying, and then attract the new generation who needed some technology sounding name, if you like. But
you got there. You managed to.
But the fundamentals were still the same. So yes. While working as a surveyor in Shell, I then introduced the technology of digital mapping. So we had to convert a whole lot of analog maps to digital, and then make sure that the maps became interactive, and then they could be delivered to people on their desktops on demand. And moving from that, I also introduced the infusion of what we used to call remote sensing, which otherwise today you will call the satellite-based technology, into the positioning technology, which was a precursor to what you know today as Google Maps. Yeah, because that's essentially what we're doing.
Exactly.
You're determining your position via satellite-based systems, otherwise called GPS, putting it on a map, which is digital, and then as you move along from live transmission, you can track your positions, and then so my bosses and myself found out that I was more interested in moving in those areas of technology and introduction into the business. So that gave me a head start above some of my colleagues, and then and gave me the exposure. So whilst in Shell, I had contact and interactions with the Federal Surveyors Department, but that's a completely different story. So I was busy going all over, delivering a lot of lectures and papers as to how the profession of surveying was under threat. You needed to embrace technology, otherwise you will lose it, because other people will embrace the technology and run you out of your profession. But cut a long story short, that my foray in the in the oil and gas industry.
So then you moved. I mean, I knew you were about retiring. We'll probably be going for a break shortly. You were about retiring, or you retired, and you were headhunted by your current company. I'm sure that meant, I mean, for somebody who led even at a very early start, 1,500 people as a leader. So it means you must have, your work must have stood out, you know, in terms of what you're doing and what you're capable of. So how was that transition? And my question for this bit before we go on a short break, what are some of the challenges, you know, that you've experienced, and how have you managed, or how did you manage to overcome them?
Okay, good. While in Shell, working for Shell, I mean, I transited from the surveying profession because at the time I was still, I would say, pretty young. And then I looked at the trajectory, professional trajectory, and I felt that, look, surveyors were, they sort of hit the bar pretty early. And I figured if I hit the bar at under 40, I still had to work to 60 to retire.
Yeah.
But so what the hell am I, sorry, pardon my language, what am I going to be doing for 20 years? Just that so I started to look at the industry and then discover that there are three dimensions. There's a technical dimension.
Okay.
There is a leadership dimension, and there's a business dimension.
Okay.
So I was coming from the technical bubble, if you like. Then I moved. I transited from being a surveyor to becoming an economist.
Interesting.
Which was more in the business dimension.
Correct.
And business dimension then gave you the sort of a full and complete overview of what drove business decisions in the industry. Okay? So I had to undertake a lot of personal development to be able to give me both the knowledge and the understanding that I needed. So I left Shell Nigeria, I went to Shell UK, and then worked in the economics and business planning department, and then returned to Nigeria, now working in the gas department, which I became head of strategy and planning, which was now looking more into the business realm.
Strategic,
yeah. So and in that I got exposed to energy beyond oil and gas.
Okay.
So I became, and then I moved on to become the first asset manager to run a commercial power plant for Shell in Nigeria. And I was very proud because we developed this power plant business from conception to reality. So it's called the AFAM power plant.
Okay.
It's a 650 megawatt combined cycle power plant. And at the time, responsible for contributing about 14% of Nigerian grid electricity.
Oh.
So it was, so you can see I've moved from surveying, I've moved to business, and I've transited from products of oil and gas to the product of electricity.
Right.
So having gone through all that, I then figured, maybe now leadership dimension is where to focus. So I equally started, I've done quite a lot of personal development. I was always studying, taking courses on my own. In fact, it was a joke sometime in my family where I was writing exams at the same time I saw my children were writing exams.
Burning the midnight candle.
So, and I remember that when I was in Aberdeen, I was doing my MBA studies, and I used to pay my daughter like £1 to help me type out my, my
assignments and so on.
After I'd written them with longhand. So yes, then I sort of felt that I've become rounded enough and focused on the leadership. So back to how I got headhunted. I had then, within Shell in Nigeria, risen to become the general manager of gas for sub-Saharan Africa.
Okay.
So, and at the time, heading towards, if you like, reaching the statutory retirement age. In Nigeria, I still had like 5 years left at the time. But then that coincided with the emergence of indigenous companies buying over assets from the IOCs, IOCs, International Oil Companies, which included Shell. And then the company that bought the biggest ever oil field from Shell was Iteo.
Okay.
So at the point, Iteo was looking for people who would help commercialize the assets and then lead the business. That's how I got headhunted, so to say. So I was approached, and then after reaching some understanding, I had to take a voluntary retirement from Shell, having attained the age of 55 at the time. I could retire voluntarily. So I took a voluntary retirement and joined Iteo as the vice president in charge of commercial and natural gas development, natural gas commercialization. So I helped to work on the transition plan to embed the new operator who has now acquired all these assets. So we broke a record at the time, because at the time the asset was handed over, it was doing about 14,000 barrels a day. But the new leadership team, which included myself as vice president, we were able to hit 96,000 barrels.
From 14?
Yeah.
Yo,
so
that's
it
good.
became an industry record, so to say. So, however, then I moved on to become now a senior vice president. But sometime in early 2015, there was I got appointed as the group managing director. So, so since 2015, I've been group managing director, leading ITO to become one of the foremost oil and gas producing companies in Nigeria.
Wow, brilliant. We didn't go on the challenges, but we'll have a break and we'll come back, because I really want to know what were the main challenges, but we'll come back.
Okay,
we'll be right
good.
back.
No problem.
Wow, wow, wow. Ikechukwu meaning power of God, and Victor in terms of your Christian name meaning victory, and your journey being born in Jos, which I didn't know that as well, and moving, from Jos to the East, studying in the East, then coming to Lagos and studying Unilag, and then serving in Oyo State. then working, as a surveyor initially, and then switching, within Shell to become more into the oil and gas, and now leading, one of the top first oil and gas. Is it downstream, upstream? I never know what it's upstream, okay? Upstream company, in Nigeria, from that journey, there, as it's just commendable, and some of the achievements you shared in the previous segment. So for you, what are the three things, that you value most? I'm sure there could be more, but for you, what are the three things that you value most in life?
Okay, I come back to the life values, but let's deal with the challenges.
Okay, yeah, that's right. We did talk about challenges, yes.
The key challenge is that in that transition of moving from the three blocks of technical and the business leadership is number one, knowledge. You have to keep learning. You never stop learning.
Right.
Number two, you have courage, the boldness to take risks. Because as you move from one of the groups to another group, you are meeting the residents in that group, so you got to compete with them. So you are first perceived as an outsider. So what is he coming to do here? He's moved from here. So
yes.
You have to have equipped yourself enough to be able to withstand that challenge. First is the challenge of acceptance, and two is the challenge of demonstrating that you have the capabilities to do the job that you're doing. So my word to the listeners out there is, you never stop learning. And that is the way you move across. Then back to what was your other question before?
Three things that you value most.
Number one is family. And then you have to have a stable family and make sure that the family supports what you do. It starts with who is your wife. Does she understand the challenges you're going through? And then number two, as I said, is continuous learning. You never stop learning. Yeah. And then number three, it's being able to have personal boundaries.
Okay.
Essentially define your ethics and the things that you can or cannot do whilst pushing for change or for entering into areas. I hope that gives you...
No, that's more than enough. So what motivates you? Why do you wake up in the morning? What keeps you going? I know, yes, but probably family, like you said as well. But for you, what do you think is the main reason that you will say, oh yeah, I need to get up, and you don't think about it? What motivates you personally?
When there is a problem to be solved, you don't rest until the problem is solved. In Africa, a lot of people have no access to energy.
Yeah.
Access to energy is a fundamental ingredient for development. So being able to contribute to the extent that we are providing, even if you like, call it the primary source of energy. I tell you, I'll give you an example. When I returned from Scotland and I was leading the power team, I used to go to travel a whole lot to the seat of government in Abuja. And in one of those my visits, my brother's daughter, who was still very young, probably, I don't know, like 7 or under 10 at the time, one day said to me, "Uncle, where are you going to?" I said, "I'm traveling to Abuja." And she said, "When you go to Abuja, tell the president that we need light." Yeah. So you know it's
Can you imagine?
yeah.
Yeah.
So because power outage and all that. So my primary motivation at the time, particularly having worked in the Western world, in the North Sea, and traveled all over the world, was that we really have no reason not to provide energy to Africa, well, to Nigeria, then to Africa. So yes, it's still part of my driving force in whatever I do within the industry to date.
So, would you say, I know you are successful, and I know you've been a fantastic leader, obviously now leading a huge, organization. What's the workforce within?
We are direct staff, maybe about 200, and
Right.
more than 600 indirect staff.
Indirect staff. So, what does leadership mean to you? Because you spoke earlier on and you've been speaking about continuous learning to be a leader, and you grooming, just equipping yourself. What does leadership mean to you, and what qualities should a leader have?
Well, leadership is being able to define direction and being able to communicate that defining is not enough. It is communicating and getting the buy-in. Communicate in such a way that you have people buy into the mission or vision that you have established. And then the key quality to that is, one, your ability to communicate, two, your ability to listen, and three, ability to show empathy. Yeah. Four, you need also to be able to motivate. Yeah. So if you can hone in on these four qualities, you will become a leader. That is not to say that no matter how perfect you think these are, there will still be a lot of people with other motives.
Yes.
Yeah. So being able to keep your followers and at the same time getting your dissenters to convert them, or where some of them you cannot convert, you keep them at bay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But you have to strike a balance. Okay. So leadership is not a one size fits all. It's also there is a cultural dimension to it. You have to understand the cultural differences that exist. I'll give you an instance. If you come to Africa,
Yes.
because culturally we respect seniority, and then we sort of worship seniority, you find out that when you lead people, they look up to you and to give the direction, and then they follow you. Yeah.
Yes.
But when you cross to some other cultures where that sort of respect or seniority is not there, there is not that perception that the leader knows it all. So they can also challenge you.
Correct.
So you have to be able to strike the balance of accepting challenge whilst also providing both knowledge and direction. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Perfectly. In fact, I didn't see things from that point of view until now. The way you've just explained it, just makes it really clear that that is a fact. Now, let's go on now to life lessons. Obviously, when we were talking in the very first segment, you were already sharing, I believe, some of those as well. And as well, when you were talking on how you managed to overcome some of the challenges within your organization. So for you, if I was going to ask, what are the key life lessons that has guided you? Like I said, I know you said keep learning, be bold to take risks and equip yourself. But key life lessons that you could advise a younger Ikechukwu in Aruchukwu to say, okay, that, this, that. So if you could just summarize or go through some of the life lessons that you've learned from even life in Unilag or in school in Owerri, and I know you do a lot for the Aruchukwu community. We don't even have time to talk about that. You give back a lot. You're a chief and a proper titled, chief. So what are some of the life lessons, that has helped you or that you've seen now that you can give to a 7-year-old or 18-year-old Victor or Ikechukwu in Aruchukwu?
Good. Number one life lesson is that Mama K is different from Ikechukwu. And your life trajectory is different from mine. So always trying to compare my progress or movement to you when we have two different circumstances don't help. Yeah, it can actually drive you into trying to be who you are not meant to be or who you are not, and possibly run into trouble. So that's number one. Understand your circumstance and strive to better your within your circumstance, and then achieve success within your circumstance. I'm not saying be complacent, yeah. The other one, it's you have to have faith. You have to believe in something, yeah. You have to believe in God, but also God helps those who help themselves, yeah. So you don't say, because I believe in God, then I'm not going to get out of bed by 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. God, manna never drops from heaven. Yeah. So you have to take that step and then do the necessary work, and God will intervene, So continuous learning and development. And then you also have to recognize that you cannot be everything, and you cannot be everywhere all the time.
You're talking to me. MTN is supposed to be everywhere. But Mama K
but the thing is, these are, I guess, realities that dawn on you as you go through life and probably and through age. So yes, but learn. Always learn. Things are changing. The world is evolving so fast that if we all just get stuck in what we knew, then we will not be able to move forward.
All right. Wow. We'll be right back. Wow, that was a masterclass in terms of what leadership is, the qualities of a leader, the life lessons, was an eye-opener, and I really, really, salute you, and I can see why, you've gone through so very successfully within your industry, and in any industry, you would have really, really, done very well for yourself. So my final question now is about social issues. I know, like I said, you do give back, you do a lot, you've supported Bold Moves through a project that we're doing, and you are a patron, as well, although we've not made it official. Unpaid. It has to be unpaid. It has to be unpaid. You're a social investor with us. You know what Bold Move is about. So you can see, a lot of social issues, whether be it in Nigeria or the African country. I'm sure you've seen a little bit of it in South Africa. It's not your first time of coming here. This is like your fourth trip or something like that. So we have a lot of social issues, and across Africa, not just Nigeria. What social issue for you, or what issue means something to you, and that you would like something to be done more about. That's one. And then the second part of that is, what are the solutions to that problem? Because it's always about solutions rather than us talking. And not necessarily, we will be able to solve it, but you never know who is watching or where this can lead on to.
For me, I think one of the critical issues for Africa is poverty. Most of the other social issues derive from poverty. Bringing people out of poverty should be a primary aim of the government, the various governments in Africa. So, and when you get people out of poverty, then they are spending a lot more time doing something productive and have less idle or leisure time to think of all the other social vices of drugs, of alcoholism, of teenage pregnancies, of
crime.
What have you. And that's why when you look at the spread in communities, you see that the children of the rich tend to do a lot better than children of the poor on the average, whilst because that poverty is been eliminated in their domain. So, and how do you get people out of poverty? I think I'm probably influenced by my own career and experience. Energy. Access to energy. That is affordable. So access, affordability of energy provides people with the ability and the infrastructure to get into productive activities. And by so doing, they can create employment. And once they are able to do that, if you take, for instance, a local person who, in our local language, fries akara, you can get firewood, you can get cooking gas, you can get electric stove, and then, it becomes difficult to fry the akara. But firewood itself is environmentally an issue because you are deforesting some certain areas. But if you make the cooking gas available and make electricity available and at the same time affordable, so she can fry her akara with all that energy, and then she can afford to pay the school fees for her children and probably employ one or two people who will help in frying the akara. So you see the amount of people getting involved in that value chain have now increased. So what you're doing, you're depleting the idle hands that are out there for other things. So maybe she has 3 people working for her frying akara. And then that akara is enabling her generate some income that puts 2 or 3 of her children in school. So you already have 6 people who are involved in this value chain. So get people out of poverty, provide them access to affordable energy, and I think you will open the door to solving most of the social issues in Africa.
Thank you so much. That is deep. I really wish we could go on. Actually had more questions, but I know because of time, maybe when I come to Lagos, I'll come to your office to do part 2.
We can even do online.
We can do online as well. Okay, all right.
But,
because there's specific things as well that I really want to go into, but I really appreciate.
No, it's my pleasure. I'm willing to share my story, my experience with using you as platform to communicate to others. So I was very pleased when you asked me to become a patron of your organization, and then the things I'm doing back from my own community, I've done I won't say a lot, but what I can in my given my own limited capacity.
Every little counts.
Is very contributory to moving people out of poverty and engaging people so they have less idle time for the other vices that plague the society. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate the conversation.
It's a pleasure. In closing, this is my last one. I want you to give words of encouragement to anyone you feel led to speak to, but I want you to look directly in the camera.
Good. So I talk to the young people out there. There's a whole lot of opportunities that exist in the midst of numerous wants and deprivation. So you have to look beyond the surface, and you can do all and everything that your mind sets out to do, provided it's within legitimate means. So don't give up. If Mr. A can make it, Mr. B can make it. But you need that perseverance, you need that spirit of resilience, and you need focus. You need to remain focused in what you're doing. It may not be easy at the beginning, but if you stay onto your calling, you will achieve it. So I wish you all the best, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. There was a lot in there. I won't even try to state it again, but I love what you said. Your key points were never stop learning, the power of resilience, and needing to persevere, focus, learning, taking boldness, and taking risk. So, Sir Victor Ikechukwu Okoronkwo, we salute you. And we just want to present you with a small token gift for you. And I know we can't give you a gift that, but know this is from us, from our heart. So we want you to have this, and we have a small key holder as well to you here, saying we appreciate you, we love you, we celebrate you, we see you, and we wish you all the best in all what you're doing, and we pray that God will continue to guide you, to guard you, and as well to bless you and your family.
Thank you.
So
thank you very much. I really love this. Can you see that? It's branded.
Very much, and I can see your cap is branded. Vio.
So thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
You're really welcome. Thank you so much, sir. Well, that's all we've got time for. It's been humbling. It's been a learning time as well. It was a masterclass. You saw the way I was writing. And we're going to get him anyway, not just for an interview. Even, you remember we've been talking about some of this masterclass session, which we'll do by Zoom. So he's going to be one of our guests on leadership. I don't know what the exact topic is, but he's really, really qualified in terms of his MBA, his experience over the years, all what he's doing within the oil and gas, which can translate, even in any form of career. Well, that's all we've got time for. And keep learning. Never stop learning. Till next time, this is Dr. Mama K signing off, saying stay safe, stay blessed. Keep taking bold moves. And remember, God is love.
Thank you.
Bye.